Welcome to another edition of Our City. A few things going around the city of Elizabeth this week is on Thursday, October 13th at 11 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to attend the dedication ceremony of Wendy's Garden on Prince Street and Irvington Avenue. 50 years ago in March, a young girl named Wendy Wolin was stabbed at that location, and her sister has asked that we dedicate a garden in her name. It quite shocked the city 50 years ago because this was done in broad daylight. So if you remember Wendy Wolin, you remember what happened 50 years ago, we're going to dedicate a garden in her memory on Thursday. Later that evening, the Greater Elizabeth Chamber of Commerce, they will have their after-hours business event. This will be at the Marriott Courtyard Hotel on 87 International Boulevard in the city of Elizabeth, right near the Jersey Gardens Mall. On Friday, October 14th at 12 noon, the Office on Aging Breast Cancer Awareness will host a tea party. This will be located at the Stephen Sampson Center on Anna Street in our city. Later that evening, I'm going to join the Homecoming King and Queen pageant reception. This will be held at Elizabeth High School, the Thomas Edison Career and Technical Academy, where Homecoming Queen is crowned before the football game. And on Saturday, October 15th, I'm going to join members of Community Access for their annual Members Day celebration. This event will be held at 80 West Grand Street in the brand new headquarters of Community Access. Beautiful building. Following that event, I'm going to join 3rd Ward Councilman Kevin Canary at the Play Streets event, which will be held at the Elmore Racquet Club. This is located at 23 Fernwood Terrace. This event's open for all kids between the ages of 6 and 14. Feature games, face painting, lots of giveaways. And for more information, call 908-820-4051. Following that event at 11 o'clock, I'm going to join the annual historical reenactment of the attack on Elizabethtown. It'll begin at Union Square and end at the First Presbyterian Church at 42 Broad Street. And also that day, Hispanic Heritage Month celebration, hosted by Making Forward Foundation. This event features a food tasting from 4:30 to 5:30. It's going to be held at the O'Donnell Dempsey Senior Center, located at 618 Salem Avenue. If you want more information, call freeholder Sergio Granados at 908-875-6098. And on Monday, October 17th, one of the special events in the city of Elizabeth, the 10th annual Food Tasting Extravaganza, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Elizabeth and co-sponsored by the Greater Elizabeth Chamber of Commerce. All local merchants, most local merchants in the city, restaurants, bakeries, diners, other organizations, are going to be there at the Renaissance Hotel. Funds raised will support the Rotary as they provide grants and scholarships throughout the community. For more information, you can go to www.elizabethrotary.org or call 908-994-5138. I think it's $40, and it's a great ticket to come and sample all of the restaurants throughout the city of Elizabeth. If you need more information concerning these events or any other events, please call our Public Information Office at 908-820-4124. Please stay with us after these messages, where I'll be back to talk about Estuary Day in our city.
Offering everything you could want from college, including a life. Kane University.
Welcome back to our city, where I'm pleased to be joined by Dr. Craig Donovan, who's an FCI board member and a professor here at Kane University. Dr. Donovan, welcome back.
Thank you. Always a pleasure.
Every year we talk about Estuary Day.
We do.
Seems like it's getting quicker and quicker, though, doesn't it? You just keep coming back here. And Mr. Sebastian Prado, an FCI project manager of Nosotros Project.
Well,
Sebastian, welcome.
Thank you, Mayor Borges.
Good to see you.
Thank you, the same.
So, the Watershed Advocate, tell us about Futures. FCI, by the way, stands for Future City Incorporated. The Elizabeth River Arthur Kill Watershed Association and Estuary Day on 2016. Give us a little background and go into what's going to be expected this year.
Sure. Well, Future City is a nonprofit here in Elizabeth, and our mission in part is dedicated to creating and maintaining a sustainable environment here in Elizabeth and in this region. Part of that is our work with the Arthur Kill and the watershed, all of the waterfront areas. So this is the 16th year now that we've held with the city and many others the Estuary Day. It's held down at the Peterson Community Center, and the idea is to have students from all over the city come down, learn about, experience, and take home with them an understanding of the environment, the watershed in particular, and what it means to be a good steward of the environment.
And Sebastian, you've been involved in Estuary Day for a couple of years now as well. How long are you in Future City?
This year is going to be my third year in Future City.
And you started as, you're a high school student or you're in college now?
In high school student, I'm now at Rutgers Newark.
You're at Rutgers Newark, right?
Yes.
And are you studying stuff to do with this? And
I'm doing a double major of math and physics, so the data that we collect in our projects help me with the major that I'm doing right now.
very good. So Sebastian, tell us your role, and please share with us maybe what the Army Corps of Engineers plans to do for Estuary Day.
Thank you, Mayor Bolwell, for having us in your show. So my role during that day is going to be helping with the technology of the event, like the live feed and the social media that we're having that day. We want to thank the City of Elizabeth and Future City Inc. for having this event another year. That help us expose the students that are going to be attending the workshop, the event, and the multiple information that the workshops provide.
Sebastian, how did you get involved in this as a young guy? And you obviously are sticking with it too. What motivated you to get involved with this?
Two things motivated me to keep going in Future City. One is that Future City has multiple programs that help me to improve like my skills, my public speaking, and because English is not my first language, Future City helped me to improve that, and also because during these 3 years, I've been part of multiple projects that help the community, and I see that these projects help.
Whenever I go to a Future City event, you're there,
yeah.
usually with a camera.
Yeah.
And you're really into it. I mean, you understand it and you get it, and I congratulate you for staying with it. So Craig, you've been an advocate and advisor since we began Estuary Day.
That's correct.
Does that have a role with what you teach here at Kane University, or is it just because you enjoy this type of advisory work?
Well, both. Yeah. I teach management, particularly public and nonprofit management. And part of that, a big part of that is public service and helping to support the motivation of students and citizens who want to contribute to the community, to the state, to the country. So the activities that Future City does provide those kind of vehicles, such as Estuary Day, where we can bring people in, help them to understand why the environment is so important and what they can do to improve the environment and to improve what the entities around there, the schools, the city, and other things can do to contribute to making a better, cleaner, safer environment for them.
Sebastian, tell me why Estuary Day is important.
Estuary Day is important for our community because of the workshops that we are providing during that day. The high school students are exposed to different terms and knowledge that they can use to create, to make a better future for our community. And these events like your show that reaches the community help us to create those future leaders that are going to help our community in the future.
Tell us what an estuary is.
An estuary, it's a part of the river that where live
the salt water?
Yeah, salt water and the river mixed together.
And I never knew that until I got together with you folks and learned a little bit about it. And we have one of the key estuaries in the region here. Yeah. And Sebastian, in working, you talked about workshops. What are some of the different workshops that are going to be in the Peterstown Community Center that day?
So that day, it's going to be one workshop from the United States Environmental Protection Agency, the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection, the Army Corps of Engineering. The Historical Society is also going to have a workshop. The Nosotros Project and other pre-college programs that we have in Future City, it's going to have a booth where the students can see visual projects of what we've been doing for the past years.
So Craig, tell us, since you teach nonprofits and you're working with Future City, how do you then convince students, not only the students here at Kane, but other young people, the local impact of an Estuary Day? What does that do to our residents, that local impact?
Well, at an educational level, it's a key opportunity to help the students, and through the students, their families, to understand what an estuary is, to understand, well, how important the water, not just the ocean, but the waterfront, the rivers, how important they are to our environment, to our economy, and what we need to do to preserve and protect them going forward.
And Sebastian, do you have a vision? You're a young guy. What would you like to see happen through all of not only the knowledge you're getting, but the knowledge you're passing on to other kids? What would you like to see happen in your vision for Estuary Day in the future, or the estuary here in Elizabeth?
First, I would like to see a change, not only from the companies that are in the port, in the zone of the estuary, but also from the community, to understand that they live next to this body of water, and that they need to protect this water.
And Dr. Donovan, do you see a growth in the knowledge of young people on estuaries and things like this since we've started this effort?
Oh, I think so tremendously. The integration between the city, the schools, the teachers, the students, and events like Estuary Day allow them all to come together so that everybody's learning a little bit about something new, and not just for the goal of learning, but for the goal of how does this make my life better? How does this impact where I live, where I work, and for the future of the young people?
Dr. Donovan, Sebastian, I want to thank you for taking the time to join me on the show this morning. I look forward to seeing you at Estuary Day at the Peterstown Community Center.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. For Dr. Craig Donovan and Mr. Sebastian Prado, please stay with us after these messages. I'm going to be joined by Sister Judy Mertz in talking about the formation of women as leaders.